When people talk about wealth, they often imagine huge salaries, big investments, or lucky breaks. But the real story behind most financially free people starts somewhere much simpler, with a side hustle. A side hustle isn't just extra income, it's a bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It's the quiet, strategic move that gives you leverage over your own life. It doesn't always start glamorous. In fact, most don't. It starts with an idea, a few hours after work, a skill, or a curiosity you can't shake. And that small beginning, when nurtured with consistency, becomes one of the most powerful engines of wealth creation in your financial journey. See, the purpose of a side hustle isn't just to make a few extra dollars. It's to create optionality, the freedom to decide what to do with your time, your money, and your direction. When all your income comes from one source, you're dependent. But the moment you create a second source, no matter how small, you shift from dependence to empowerment. That's what makes side hustles so transformative. They give you control. They give you perspective. They turn passive consumers into active creators. And eventually, they become the testing ground for wealth-building skills that compound over time. Let's be honest, most people underestimate the real purpose of a side hustle. They see it as a short-term patch for financial stress. Something to help pay bills, buy nicer things, or save a little extra. But the deeper truth is that side hustles are skill incubators. They teach you how money works, how markets respond, how to sell value, how to manage risk, and how to think like a business. The job you have right now might teach you how to follow systems. Your side hustle teaches you how to build them. That shift in mindset is priceless. It's what separates those who stay stuck from those who grow exponentially. When you start a side hustle, you're not just building another income stream, you're building resilience. You're learning how to adapt, how to problem solve, and how to handle uncertainty. Every project you launch, every client you serve, every product you test gives you new data about how to survive and thrive in the real economy. That's why some of the world's most successful entrepreneurs didn't start with big business plans, they started with side hustles. Jeff Bezos sold books. Elon Musk coded small software tools. Sarah Blakely sold fax machines before she built Spanx. Each one started with limited resources but limitless curiosity. They used their free hours to experiment, and those experiments became empires. And here's the part no one talks about enough. Side hustles don't just build wealth, they build confidence. They remind you that your income isn't fixed by your job title or your education. It's limited only by your ability to create value. That realization is addictive. Once you experience earning money from something you built, something that came from your own initiative, it changes the way you see everything. You begin to see opportunities everywhere. Of course, not every side hustle turns into a full-time business. And that's perfectly fine. The goal isn't always to quit your job. The goal is to design your safety net. When your main income slows down, your side hustle catches you. When life throws uncertainty your way, your extra streams provide flexibility. Even a few $100s a month from something you control can change your sense of stability. And over time, those smaller streams evolve. The extra $500 you earn freelancing could be reinvested into dividend stocks. The income from a small online store could fund an index fund portfolio. The profits from your digital products might finance your next venture. Wealth isn't built in one giant leap, it's built in layers. The side hustle is the foundation for each of those layers. But to make it work, you need to treat it seriously. Many people start a side hustle casually, they put in minimal effort, expect instant results, and quit when it gets hard. That's the difference between dabbling and building. When you treat your side hustle as a real business, even if it's small, everything changes. You plan, track, optimize, and scale. You stop thinking like an employee doing overtime and start thinking like a strategist building leverage. And leverage is the key word here. The most successful side hustles aren't built on endless effort, they're built on systems. At first, you trade time for money. But as you grow, you find ways to make that time compound by automating, outsourcing, or creating products that sell themselves. That's where the transformation happens. You go from having a hustle to having an asset. Think about it. A freelancer can turn their service into a course. A designer can turn custom work into templates. A tutor can turn lessons into a membership site. Every time you document your process and make it repeatable, you turn effort into equity. You turn a one-time payment into recurring value. That's the secret of the wealthy. They don't just earn money, they build machines that keep earning for them. What makes this so powerful is that side hustles teach you discipline in a way a 9-to-5 never can. You learn how to manage your time, how to prioritize, and how to invest in yourself. You stop seeing money as something you chase and start seeing it as something you grow. It is not just about more income, it is about transforming your relationship with money itself. And here is where it gets even deeper. Side hustles compound in more ways than just financial. The skills you learn from one hustle can amplify another. Maybe your first side hustle teaches you digital marketing, which helps you promote a second. That second teaches you about pricing and value, which helps you negotiate better at your main job. Every experience builds a toolkit that multiplies your earning potential across all areas of your life. The long-term effect of this is extraordinary. Over time, your side hustles evolve into income ecosystems, interconnected, adaptable, and self-sustaining. When one slows down, another picks up. When you reinvest profits, your system grows stronger. It's like building your own financial organism, one that thrives in any environment. And if you stay consistent long enough, something magical happens. The income that started as extra begins to surpass what used to be your main paycheck. You realize you're no longer trapped by one employer, one economy, or one trend. You've built a structure that gives you freedom, stability, and confidence. That's the real power of a side hustle, not the short-term cash, but the long-term transformation. It's easy to underestimate small beginnings. It's easy to think a few hours a night won't change much. But those hours, repeated over months and years, can completely alter your financial trajectory. Every product you build, every client you serve, every skill you refine, they're not just tasks. They're investments. You're building assets disguised as effort. So when you think about starting a side hustle, don't ask, will it make me rich this year? Ask, what will this teach me? What can this become in 5 years? Because 5 years from now, that small, imperfect project could be your main source of income, your escape plan, or your legacy. In the end, side hustles are about freedom, not just financial, but psychological. They remind you that you have the power to create, to adapt, and to own your future. Every stream you build brings you closer to a life where money works for you, not the other way around. The question isn't whether side hustles work. The question is whether you're willing to start small, stay consistent, and build with intention. Because the truth is, wealth isn't built in bursts of luck, it's built through layers of discipline, action, and curiosity. And a side hustle is where that journey begins. Disclaimer: this video is for educational purposes only and does not constitute financial advice. Always conduct your own research and consult a professional before making financial or business decisions.